Oh, when we start to wreck up the crowd.
I know.
All right, can everyone hear me? Yes! All right, I just want to make sure that the sound travels. First of all, thank you so much for coming out today. Luckily we have good weather. I love this crowd already. Let me introduce myself. My name is Jake Gardner. I'm from Walden, Lockton, Heron. I've been counsel to the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees for the last 2 years. So yes, well thank you for letting me represent you guys. So I'm just going to give a few minutes to tell you of an important update. I'm not sure how many of you are aware, but today is a good day, and I'll get to that in a second. Then I'm going to pass the microphone to my colleague, Hannah Bellis from my law firm, and then I'm going to also just pass it on to Marianne Pizzatola, the president of the New York City Organization. Right on! You have to be living under a rock to not know who Marianne is at this point. Yes, it's true. Many people are, including people in that building right over there. And then we're going to have a couple other people talk. So let me just get started. I'm going to say a few things that you guys already know, and then hopefully one thing that you don't know. So for the past 2 years, the city has been waging a war on you, the retired municipal workforce, by trying to take away your health care rights. Fortunately, we have won every court battle so far. But 2 months ago, the city escalated this war by dropping a nuclear bomb on all of us. It announced that for the first time in history, it would deny elderly and disabled retirees access to traditional Medicare, which retirees have relied on for the past 57 years. The city announced that it will automatically enroll all of you in a cheaper, inferior type of health insurance called Medicare Advantage. Shame. This unprecedented action is going to have catastrophic consequences for countless retirees. I don't have to tell you, but just bear with me for 1 second. Unlike traditional Medicare, the city's new Aetna Medicare Advantage plan will not be accepted by many medical providers. That means that scores of retirees will lose access to their doctors and will be unable to remain in the continuing care facilities where they have lived for years. And because of Aetna's prior authorization requirements, retirees will be unable to receive medical care ordered by their doctors if Aetna decides that the care is not necessary. These last 2 months have brought a lot of sadness, a lot of anger, and a whole lot of fear. But today is a happy day. Today we fight back.
Yes.
This morning, the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees and several individual plaintiffs filed an 84-page, 12-count class action complaint on behalf of
All right. Who's got the power? Who's got the power? We've got the power. Who's got the power? We've got the power.
Just so you don't think I'm lying, here's that complaint right here.
All right.
When we simultaneously moved for a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction to immediately halt the city's unlawful conduct. That's
Right on.
As many of you will remember, for our last 2 lawsuits, we did the same thing. We filed a complaint, and we also filed a preliminary injunction motion. Second. There we go. Both of which in our previous 2 lawsuits were granted. So we're hoping for the same result here. Our lawsuit seeks to prevent the city from denying retirees the Medicare benefits they were promised and have always received. As explained in this complaint, the city is attempting to pull off what may be the biggest bait and switch in history. For over half a century, the city has promised every single employee, every single year, that if they spent their career serving this city, when they retired and became elderly or disabled, they would be entitled to traditional Medicare, plus Medicare supplemental insurance paid for by the city. Today's retirees, all of you, relied on this promise when making important employment, health care, financial, and other decisions throughout your lives. Attached to our lawsuit are thousands of pages of evidence, including hundreds of affidavits from retirees like you.
Right, all right.
This evidence confirms the unambiguous healthcare promise and retirees' detrimental reliance on it. You all dedicated your lives to, and many of you even risked your lives for, the city in reliance on the promised health insurance benefits. To deprive you of those benefits now in your old age is an unconscionable and unlawful bait and switch. But don't take my word for it. I'm just echoing what Mayor Adams said 2 years ago when he was running for office. Back then, when asked for his thoughts on forcing retirees into a Medicare Advantage plan, he said that it would be an unjust bait and switch and would, quote, traumatize everyone. He added, and I quote, I'm just quoting the mayor right here before he was the mayor, "You don't become a civil servant to become a billionaire. You become a civil servant to have stable health care, a stable pension, and a stable life. And we cannot destabilize it after they retire. Right now, after serving your city, we should not do any type of bait and switch. When you retire with an understanding, and we need to make sure we live up to that agreement."
What a hypocrite!
Nice work, nice work, nice work.
Amazingly, even Aetna, the insurance company that's administering the new Medicare Advantage plan, previously opposed the idea of forcing retirees off of their existing health insurance. 2 years ago, as you may recall, when the city tried to force you all into a different Medicare Advantage plan, Aetna publicly announced that this maneuver was unlawful and would cause irreparable harm to countless retirees. So what changed? What happened? I think we all know what happened. Money. The mayor and Aetna now stand to benefit by hundreds of millions of dollars a year by forcing all of you into the Aetna Medicare Advantage plan. Unfortunately, you retirees are easy targets. You're not represented by your former unions, you know that. And you have no collective bargaining power. But what you have on your side, however, is the law and the courage to fight for each other.
All right, all right. Healthcare is a human right. Fight, fight, fight. Healthcare is a human right. Fight, fight, fight. Healthcare is a human right. Fight, fight, fight.
So the Retiree Health Insurance Moratorium Act is one of many statutes listed in our complaint, and that prohibits the city from reducing health care costs on the backs of retirees, where, like here, there's no comparable reduction for active employees. Several other statutes, constitutional provisions, and common law doctrines, all of which are detailed in that 84-page complaint I mentioned, they similarly prohibit the city from forcing you into the Aetna Medicare Advantage plan. On behalf of the legal team, we look forward to vigorously litigating these issues on your behalf. You all sacrificed for this city. You worked long hours for pay that was substantially lower than what you would have received in the private sector. Some of you are former first responders who are now sick or disabled as a result of your heroic service. You deserve the city's gratitude and appreciation and the health insurance benefits you were guaranteed. You do not deserve this nightmare that the city has forced on you. Last thing I'll say. Today, we ask the court to once again protect elderly and disabled retirees from the city's unlawful assault on your health care rights. Thousands of lives depend on it. Thank you for standing with us and for supporting us in this important fight. Now, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Hannah, who's just going to say a few words, and then we're going to pass the mic on to Marianne and to a few other people, but you might hear from me again in a little bit.
Hannah.
Hi everyone, it's great to be here today. I mostly just want to introduce myself and echo everything that Jake said. My name is Hannah Bellitz. I work with Jake at Walden Moncton Heron. I have only been at the firm for the past few months, but I have been working nonstop on this case. And I am just so honored to be fighting on behalf of and alongside all of you. It's truly my privilege, and just want to echo everything that Jake said. And I'll pass it over now to Marianne.
Thank you.
What do we want?
I'm sure.
What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? And when do we want it? Now. And when do we want it? Now. And when do we want it? Now.
Hey everyone.
Good morning. We thought we'd move you down here on this end of the block. It's a little bit shadier and we were hoping it would stay cool. But we're glad to see you all. Thank you for coming. We do have a couple people we do want to speak with you and tell you what's going on. We're thankful for our legal team, Walden, Mockton, Harris. So you've got Jake and Hannah, and I'm not seeing, and our other firm is Cohen, Alec Cohen. Oh, come here. So many of you have been receiving phone calls from Alexa or Jonathan, and I'll just let them just say hello, but I'll just keep popping in and then we'll just continue this on. So hold on a second. Alexa, come on.
Introduce yourself to everybody and let them know that you're the one that they've been talking to when you're calling.
Yes. Should I stay up here?
Good. All right. I'm short.
Hi everyone. My name is Alexa. I'm a legal analyst here at Pollock Cohen, and it has been an honor to hear all of your stories. Each one of you has relied on this promise, and it's been powerful to see that. And I'm so proud of our attorneys who've been able to kind of, put that all together in the complaint, the petition. So thank you so much. If you haven't submitted your affidavit yet and you would like to, please send it to me. Mary Ann should have been sending out emails, so please do send your affidavit if you haven't. And if you've gotten an email back from me, I have it and it's been filed. So thank you guys so much. Thank you so much.
You want to say hello? Introduce yourself if you're getting an email from them.
He's unaccustomed to public speaking.
Yeah.
We're getting him now.
Hi, I'm John from Pollock Cohen. You may have also received some emails from me as well. Basically, I just wanted to, reiterate what Alexa said. We are still taking in your affidavits. We are getting in all the information that we need to fight for you and to fight the city on this and to fight Mayor Adams. So we want to thank you all very much and keep fighting.
Good job. Good job, brother.
You want Chuck next and then we'll switch?
Being short is really difficult.
You're not sure anymore, baby. Real long.
So we know that this has been a 2-year fight and this has been kind of crazy. They keep changing the plan and the scheme and trying to take away our health care benefits. And every other time you guys have followed us along this route, kept funding this litigation because the only people that have been protecting us is ourselves, unfortunately. But we have you to thank for getting us here, and this is huge. We have been very successful in the court. Every time we get a positive decision from the Supreme Court and the city appeals it, we end up going to the First Department Appellate Court. And so we have had 2 wins, unanimous wins in the First Department Appellate Court. We posted those videos. You got to see Jake argue them, and that was pretty phenomenal. And we're sure once this gets heard, they're going to probably do that again. But we filed both today, as Jake said, the brief as well as the preliminary injunction to stop this from being forced, us being forced into this plan. We know that, like Jake said, that the mayor did say originally when he was candidate for mayor, that this was a bait and switch. And then now all of a sudden he's full-throated into this plan and doesn't even want to talk to us about it. We know that this is a diminishment of our benefit. We also know that many of your doctors and your hospitals will not be accepting this plan. We also know, as Jake had reiterated to you earlier, that we have several seniors that do live in CCRCs, which stands for Continuing Care Residential Communities. These are where you come in as independent living, assisted, and transition to memory care or nursing care. They do not accept HMOs or MA plans. So these people would be left in the lurch without having health insurance. They would end up having to pay for the full cost of that, or they would end up losing their end-of-life care plan. So for us to be able to stick together is absolutely huge because we know what our lives look like after 65. It's the ones that are making the decisions that don't. But today you should be proud of yourselves to getting you here because every case that we have filed so far where they told us that we either didn't have standing or we weren't going to win or we had no cause, and we have won every single time. So that is for you.
So I'm going to now introduce Michelle to you, which many of you do know, because you see her and I every Friday night. And we're going to keep this going, so hold on.
When workers' rights are under attack, what do we do? When retirees' rights are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. One more time, when retirees' rights are under attack, what do we do?
You all know me, I'm tall, so I don't have to be on the first step.
Yeah, don't brag.
I'm not just a floating bobblehead that sits in the chair. You guys, if they put this plan in place, are going to be hurt by it. You will be destroyed, and the city, they need to know this. You are the faces of this city, not myself. Yeah, we're part of it, and not Marianne and the rest. You guys. We need your support. You are the faces. This will be detrimental to you. This is supposed to be your golden years, not the dark ages.
Come on now.
Okay? Thank you to Pollock and Cohen, to Alexa and Jonathan, to Jake, Hannah, and everybody else. We have been working tirelessly. I have read your affidavits and filed them. It is heartbreaking what this is going to do to you guys. Okay? Let your voices be heard.
Yes.
Okay? My Magic 8 Ball. Somebody send me a new one. I feel good about this. Thank you. Thank you. Without your support, we wouldn't be here. We will fight till the end.
Oh, yes.
What do we want? What do we want?
Healthcare.
What do we want?
Healthcare.
When do we want it?
Now.
And when do we want it?
Now.
And when do we want it?
Now.
And if we don't get it?
Shut it
If
down.
we don't get it?
Shut it down.
If we don't get it?
Shut it down.
If we don't get it?
Jubilada de la local 371 del Distrito 37, pertenezco a la Asociación de los Jubilados del Distrito 37. Estamos aquí hoy, como hemos estado siempre, defendiendo nuestros derechos de Medicare, el cual las uniones que se llama MLC y el alcalde quieren privatizar, quitarnos los derechos a servicios médicos, los cuales nosotros trabajamos por muchos años, algunos 30, 40, 27 años, en diferentes oficinas de la ciudad. Nosotros representamos la oficina todo el tiempo bajo temperatura fría, caliente, lo que fuera. Fuimos leal a la ciudad y a las uniones. Ahora el sindicato, que son las uniones que nos representaban, nos están vendiendo a una compañía privada para quitarnos los servicios o disminuir los servicios médicos, los cuales nosotros necesitamos en la edad que tenemos. Tenemos condiciones algunos, otros también de salud. Yo soy una que padecí de un ataque del corazón y me tengo que hacer un trasplante de la válvula aorta. Y eso cuesta dinero que yo no tengo. Y tampoco tengo el dinero de pagar todos los copayments y la privatización que ellos nos están enfrentando a nosotros, los jubilados que estamos indefensos. No tenemos quien nos represente. Por eso hoy le damos las gracias a Marianne, al grupo y a los abogados de Wayland,
Walden, Mockton, Harron.
Walden, Mac and Harry. Gracias porque estamos aquí peleando por esto y queremos que continuemos la lucha con todos ustedes y traigan a las amistades porque esto afecta a los familiares, los esposos, las esposas, los compañeros, a todos nos afecta y afecta a los miembros que vienen ahora que se van a jubilar. Por favor, participen, digan la palabra a todo el mundo, en la iglesia, en las comunidades, donde vayan ustedes a visitar. Lo que deben de hablar es que están privatizando nuestros servicios médicos, y queremos que toda la ciudad y todos los trabajadores y el público se enteren de lo que nos están haciendo los sindicatos públicos y el alcalde de Nueva York, Eric Adams. El concilio está durmiendo, no nos han representado como deben. Cuando lleguen las elecciones ahora, para afuera, vótalos para afuera, voten con un perro antes de votar por ellos. Gracias y gracias a ustedes.
All right, all right. Unidos. Unidos.
Go ahead.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Sue Ellen Dodell. I'm a retired lawyer. I've worked for more than 40 years for the city, and I've been privileged to work as a volunteer with Marianne and Michelle and our whole legal team. It's been... I've read hundreds of your affidavits, and it's just heartbreaking what the city is doing to all of us. So thank you for being out here today. Keep fighting. And I'm just thrilled to be part of such a wonderful, inspiring group. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. It's your choice. You don't have to watch the cable.
No. Hello, my name is Renee Dinnerstein. I began teaching in public school in 1968 when I was 24 years old. I loved teaching. I felt passionate about teaching. Now that I'm 79 and retired, I feel as though the city that I work for has punched me in the stomach and kicked me out to pasture. It's a terrible feeling, and I wouldn't be surprised if many of the people here share this awful feeling with me. I would like to share a text that I got from my friend Peter yesterday. He couldn't be here today. He said, I recently sent a requested notarized affidavit explaining the consequences of how 2 medications I need will not be covered under the new plan and will cost about $6,500 a month. Also, a few of my physicians I've been seeing for many years will not accept coverage and are not on their list of approved doctors. His story is one that I hear over and over. Many of my doctors have made it clear that they will not have anything to do with Medicare Advantage. My recently retired gynecologist sent me this email when she heard what the city is doing to us. I'll read it to you. Renee, Renee, as you know, I am a retired OBGYN who practiced for 30 years in Brooklyn. I do not like Advantage plans and recommended that my patients did not sign up for them. Some of my reasons are professional and some are personal. Advantage plans reimburse physicians poorly, and thus most physicians who have been in practice for more than 5 years and have a dedicated patient base will not take them. I had an Advantage plan myself for 6 months. I needed an endocrinologist. The only one my plan could find for me was in North Harlem. The agent said this would work for me as it was within 15 miles of my home. But that was a big journey for me then. Many doctors take these undesirable plans when they start out, then they drop them when they no longer need the volume of patients. However, a few studies have shown that the plans are not conscientious about updating their physician list. In fact, an article in the New England Journal of Medicine had testers and physicians and found out 25% of those listed either no longer took or had never taken the plan in question. Many auxiliary services are also listed in these plans. My 99-year-old mom has one such plan, and home aides are listed as one of her covered services. However, no agencies we called whose names were given to me by the Advantage reps took this insurance, and none of these agencies said they could find any aid to travel to where my mom lives. My mother lives 15 miles north of Danbury and 12 minutes west of New Milford. She is not in the middle of nowhere. The truth is, Medicare Advantage plans are not Medicare as such. They are all run by private insurance companies who are profit motivated. They aggressively court patients and often overcharge the Medicare system. When thoroughly researched, it becomes obvious that these plans neither serve the provider nor the patient well. They certainly do not provide an advantage to anyone. I have an idea. I thought that surely our city council would support us, but alas, that isn't to be. I would like to suggest that if our council member is running for office and has not vocally, openly supported us, that we write in a candidate as a protest vote and ask our friends and family to do the same. Our council members are elected to support us, not the mayor or a corrupt union leader. Thank you.
Yay. Hey everyone, if you're standing on the sidewalk outside the barriers, you need to come inside. The sidewalk from the barrier to the cars is meant for the pedestrians, so please come inside if you're with us. You can stay. Yeah, you can stay. All the retirees on the sidewalk, please come into the barriers. Who's our next speaker? Is Ms. Lucino? Ms. Lucino. We'd like to introduce you to one of our representative plaintiffs.
Good morning. My name is Nancy Lucino.
A little closer.
Yeah, the mic.
Okay.
That's it.
My name is Nancy Lucino, and I earned my spot here because my husband was in the City of New York Fire Department, and he was a 9/11 responder, and I'm a little nervous.
That's okay. You're with family. Family. It's okay. Please. You're doing good. You're doing well.
Whole family.
I got you.
Okay. It's a little emotional. He died as a result of a 9/11 illness. He was working on 9/11 and came home that night, and he said that it was devastating how many people from the fire department and from all other responder sections of the city were probably dead. And I had no understanding of how bad it would be. For the number of people whose lives were impacted, the families whose lives were impacted, and the suffering that would go on in the years after 9/11. He passed away a few years ago. I took care of him along with our daughter. He required lengthy hospital stays, multiple hospital visits, emergency rooms, tests, all kinds of stuff. And he suffered, and his spirit is here with us today.
Yes.
And I want all of you, many city, well, all of you here, we all know who our family members and neighbors and friends who are city employees, we all know who they are. Whether they work for the uniform services, or they work for their teachers, or sanitation, corrections. We all know who our friends and family are. Many people don't know that this effort is going on, and it's up to us to pass the word explain to people, get them involved, ask them to contribute, because our welfare depends on this. I want to give you a little short story. I wasn't a stay-at-home mom. I also worked, I was a trained professional social worker. So I understand about these grassroots campaigns, and I have the highest regard for our legal team and our professional team here, Mary Ann, Michelle, and everybody else, because they have been fighting for us. They are the true social workers. But all of us, what makes me crazy about this, yes, my husband died. I was left to really face my old age by myself. His death was ruled a line of duty illness, so I acquired his health care benefits. But you all contributed to Medicare while you were working, and you were promised traditional Medicare, not this piece of junk Medicare Advantage crap that they're trying to pass off onto you. So we need to fight for this. I'm a social worker. I understand Medicare billing, and health insurance in general. And what they are doing is a huge bait and switch. And you need to fight for it, because if you sign on the dotted line and say, oh, it's not that bad, I'll go into this Medicare Advantage plan, you will get hit with prior authorizations, with co-payments. They will nickel and dime you to death. So we're all here fighting for the same thing. And all of you first responders, I want to thank you all for being there on 9/11 and continuing with your own healthcare challenges. And really, this is a huge crowd. Thank you all for coming and hearing my story. Good job! Good job!
I got to make sure people need to speak.
Don't forget me, man.
You want to talk?
I'll be nice.
So we have a few more speakers. We have a retired Local 372 president that came to join us. You have seen some of our videos where we are working to try to get Jean Francois replaced. He is the union president for Local 372, who has not been supporting what we are doing. This is Santos Crespo.
Santos, use your outside voice. You don't even need a mic.
Yeah, I know. Well, besides being here as a retiree and a member of the Retirees Association of DC 37, I'm also here to remind the mayor, who has aligned himself with unions that are now not in our interest in terms of maintaining what was promised to us, that the unions do not vote for him. It is us. The unions may endorse, but we are the ones that come out and pull that lever. Well, we don't have a lever anymore, right? What we now do is we fill in that bubble. Well, guess what? Maybe on the next go-round, Mr. Mayor, and there's not one mayor that I know that does not already plan for the next go-round, we're going to remember that you were not with us. That you reneged on a promise that's older than 50 years. When I was discharged from the Navy back in 1973, my first job I was hired by the New York City Board of Education at the time, that's what it was called.
Yeah, Board of Ed.
Board of Ed, as a substance abuse specialist. We didn't have a union then. We were not organized. We went out and we got organized and we joined Local 372 of District Council 37. And we did that because we knew that we would have a level of being able to fight for equal pay, which we didn't have, vacation time, which we did not have, sick time, which we did not have, and a retiree plan, which we did not have. And now, the city, and I'm going to say some cohorts in the city council, because I've spoken with some of them, and they're not on board on this. They're in a dilemma, because they know that we vote for them, not DC 37, not UFT, not the Teamsters, not any of the other unions that are engaged in taking this benefit. So let's call them out. When it comes down to them taking the position, public records will indicate where they stood, and we're going to remember, because as my sister Michelle says, the power lies here. We decide, not them. They work for us. We don't work for them. They work for us. So brothers and sisters, again, power to the people.
Who's got the power? 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 Who's got the power?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Evie Rich, a municipal retiree of 32 years. I am 90 years old. I went to work for the New York City Board of Education in 1962 as a teacher, and I have served this city well.
Yes, you have.
And
Yes, you
so
have.
you. My comments primarily are directed to the people who are not here. You municipal retirees who are black and brown, where are you? You should be here with us. You are the ones who will suffer the most from a Medicare Advantage program, which will deny and delay you and me, black and brown people, the care we earned, the care we deserve, and the care we were promised.
That is correct.
Legally promised.
Now,
Legally.
power lies with you and with all my colleagues in front of me. Let the word go out to Mayor Adams. You may be mayor, you may be black, but you are not doing your job. We are mad, we are angry, we are organized, and we vote. And the time has come for new and New York City Council members to stand up and be counted. This is what we want you to do. First, you tell Speaker Adrienne Adams that she needs to give our bill a number. The bill which will codify the promise of premium-free, universal, quality, comprehensive health care that we were promised, we earned, and we deserve. Those of you who live in Southeast Queens, where
Speaker Adams lives, I challenge you. Go to her office. Take your friends with you. Tell her that you vote. And the time has come for her to stand up for not just black people and brown people, but all people. Retirees who have served this city well. Let the word go out to my city council person, Gail Brewer. Evie Rich is after you. Evie Rich is watching you.
You go, Evie. You go, Evie.
We will bring you to account. If you do not take the leadership role that you did many years ago as our city council person, that you did as president of the borough of Manhattan, why are you so quiet?
Exactly.
You should be leading the charge. Stand up, Gail. Evie is standing up. Come and stand with me.
Yes.
With me. And with all my municipal retiree friends who, like me, serve this city well. You owe us. Remember that. Because we're not going to forget.
That's right.
I am not going to forget.
That's right.
And all those other city council people out there in City Hall, you won't be there very long. If you don't do what you need to do and have to do.
Yes.
Now, the woman who spoke in front of me was very moving. Her husband died serving this city. And the mayor and you have turned your backs on her. And in doing so, you've turned your back on all of us.
Exactly.
And we are not going to accept it. Remember, we are in it to win it. In it to win it.
To win it! In it! To win it! In it! To win it! In it! We'll win it!
Thank you.
Easy for mayor. Yes. Nice work. Oh, that was
I think we found our new mayor. I don't know where you've been, but you've been over there. We have a few more speakers. We have some retirees, and then after that, I also want to bring out my colleague, Steve Cohen, to the extent he wants to talk. Steve Cohen, as many of you know, took this case originally when, there was just a long shot.
You want the ladder?
I think a lot of people thought that we stood no chance. Steve had the vision to say, I'm going to take a risk on all of you, and I'm going to pour myself into this case. We would not be here without Steve Cohen's vision and without Steve Cohen's, willingness to do what a lot of lawyers in this city would not do.
Yep.
So, Steve, you want to say
I think there's a rule. You're not supposed to follow children, pets, or Eddie up to the podium.
I was going to say. That's yours, brother.
I want to thank all of you. I also want to specifically call out Michelle and Marianne and their team, Sue. Because unless they and you had pulled together, this would never have happened. Thank you, sincerely. You are the secret weapon in all of this. I also want to point out, when Marion introduced me to Jake just about 2 years ago, I was a little impressed by the Stanford undergraduate and the Yale Law School. That's not it. He became a New York City firefighter in between Stanford and Yale. He not just talks the talk, he walks the walk. And the great work that has been done to date is largely Jake and Hannah's. And I want to acknowledge them and thank them. An extraordinary team to thank you. And Jonathan and Alexa here, and you can imagine what it must be like working with me. It is not pleasant. So thank you for putting up with me. There's a sign back there which says promises made should be promises kept. It should be. And with your help, this will be the continuing successful battle of David beating Goliath.
I don't know. Hi, I'm Karen Anderson, and I thank you for listening to me and to all of us. We have a lot to say. Since my retirement from CUNY in 2013, I have had cancer and incurred several fractures requiring surgery. Traditional Medicare, along with the premium care, senior care promised to city retirees, has allowed me to get all the medical services I've needed without delay, without incurring unaffordable bills, and with virtually no paperwork. My medical care has been a blessing, almost compensating for the conditions that make it necessary. I have listened to the presentations made by the current Medicare Advantage plan and tried hard to give it serious consideration, but there was no question in my mind that it would not work for me. For one thing, my doctors will not accept it, and we've heard from many who say the same. And common sense alone tells us that privatized health care will have to make a profit by cutting back on the care they allow us to have. So I am adamantly opposed to it, as I know we all are. So what's happening to us is being played out in one form or another across the nation as private healthcare companies take over public health providers. Private companies see an opportunity for a killing, and cash-strapped states and municipalities see an opportunity to rid themselves of promised financial obligations to the public. Initially, I thought that Mayor Adams might be an exception to this and might resist this movement, but when I saw that he was not, I wrote to him and I said, "Whose side are you on, Mr. Mayor? When you ran for mayor, I voted for you because you sounded like you were on the side of the people. But I see now that you are either unable or unwilling to stand up to powerful private forces that work against the welfare of the public." I concluded my letter to him saying, "Mr. Mayor, why not be a leader for the people and work with experts in public health care and finance instead of aligning yourself with self-seeking union leaders and profit-seeking companies? Why not take an honorable, courageous, historic, and visionary path that protects New York City retirees like me and so many others far into the future? Why not establish New York City as a public health care model that other cities and indeed the nation might look to? It would be truly inspiring if you and the city we love could lead the nation in this way." Well, of course, I did not hear back from Mayor Adams, and he seems more strongly entrenched than ever in his insistence on this change. And I know that he is pressuring you, the City Council, to support his plan, or at the least, to stand aside and just let it happen. But I am asking that you, instead, stand in his way. Do not let this happen without any resistance from each of you. And I would go further to say that when we stand in the way of someone whose actions will inflict harm on others, we protect everyone involved, including the person who would inflict the harm. I don't think anyone starts out in public office wanting to inflict harm. They do it because over time they come to believe it's unavoidable, or it's the easiest fix for a bigger problem, or they're persuaded by interested parties. But that belief needs to be scrutinized and challenged by others like you who have a closer connection with your constituents and a better understanding of what will serve the common good. And I would add that if you're on the mayor's side, be on his better side, not the side that would harm all of us and will cause harm to many future city retirees, all the current city retiree employees. I am respectfully asking you to stop his plan by passing the current legislation that will enshrine retirees' rights to Medicare health benefits and by including retiree health care costs in the city budget. By doing this, you will protect us, which it is your job to do, and I would say that effort is worthy of all the heart and skill and intelligence and imagination and courage that you can bring to it. Thank you.
Anyone else going to wrap it up?
Okay, hello. I'll be really fast because we've been standing here a long time today. We've been standing here a long time for the past 2 years. And thank you all. I'm Gloria Brandman. I wear a couple of hats. I'm now wearing my UFT hat. I am a retiree from the UFT. I'm also a member of Retiree Advocate, a caucus in the UFT. And we also have been fighting against this because our union leader is one of the main union leaders who's responsible for this. And we need to vote him out. And believe me, we are working on it. And this, as a matter of fact, this healthcare fiasco has helped the opposition caucuses in the UFT, and soon we are going to be the leadership caucuses of the UFT. So again, I also work with CROC, the Cross-Union Retiree Organizing Committee, and we have also been out here for the past 2 years in the street. I think I've been out here at least 17 times. Here, walking up and down. We've kept it in the news. We've kept it in your hearts. We've kept fighting this. And we appreciate everything you've done, and we appreciate everything the New York organization has done in this case. And hearing that there is a lawsuit coming up, that has lifted my spirits a lot right now.
We didn't oh, my mic is stopped. I can try to yell.
Your thing's up.
Is this thing working? Can I use this?
Give it a minute. Yeah, you can.
So we didn't ask for this change, as you all know. It was just done to us in secret because of secret negotiations, and they thought they could pull it off. They thought, oh, retirees, they are old, they are weak, they are feeble. But guess what? We are not. We did not accept it from happening, thanks to all of you. Right now, retire, not expired. Before I came here today, I kind of thought that at this point, we are standing on the platform of the train, getting ready to be pushed off, but now I'm feeling like that really might not happen. We had hoped there'd be some legislation in the city council. That hasn't happened yet, but we're hoping that it will. A council person said a few days ago in conversation, if this doesn't happen, if we can't save the retirees, don't call us the most progressive city council. Well, that is true. So in closing, I want to say, okay, yes, we are getting older. We're getting older, we need better health care. We need more health care. People have talked a lot about that today, and that's what we deserve. That's what we want. We are going to keep the Medicare plan that we have, and we're going to keep on fighting, and thank all of you.
Michelle, close it up.
and then give the microphone to Jake.
Check.
No, it's dead still.
Way to go, girls.
Sorry about that, folks. We lost Summer, but just kind of hold on. You're here. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming out here today. Thank you to Mariana and her team. These are champions, folks. These are champions. I am Michelle Keller of District Council 37. I'm a retiree, and I'm the president of the Coalition Labor Union Women of AFL-CIO. Thank you to each of you with a kind heart for making this time a priority. Our fight for recognition, justice, and resolution in this long-standing battle has tested our resilience and our fortitude. Galatians 6:9 of the Bible tells us not to grow weary of doing good, for in due time we shall reap our harvest if we don't give up. Mayor Adams and City Council, you have a vital responsibility to all of your citizens while making an indelible mark on our next generation. Dignity and respect for workers is paramount. Doubly so for civil service who have set the bar, the foundation of public service. A budget is a moral statement, and it has been weaponized to destabilize, sacrifice, and bear harm to our union members. Labor's retired workers. Even after your initial calculations, a surplus was found, and we continue to be crushed. We stand up here today, proud and conclusive that New York City's institutional stability rides on our shoulders. New York City Council, we can't hear you. If you stand by silent or hopeless, you are complicit. We cannot be walking this tightrope every year. Medicare Disadvantage offers me no real choices for my health care, and choices are a freedom. The long-standing, strong, healing relationship I have with my doctor now sits at the oversight of the insurance company's ultimate approval. Although this whole process is closest to those with the pain, we have not even been invited into the room. Take care of yourselves, be well, and thank you so much for being here today.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up. You guys have all been very patient. You've been very supportive. We've got a lot of great energy here. I just want to bring us back to what brought us here initially, which is this lawsuit that we filed this morning. So the next step in this process is there will eventually be a court hearing on our motion for a preliminary injunction, which seeks to stop the city from moving forward with this plan. When we have a date for that hearing, we will let everyone know, because I assume a large number of you will want to be there in person and show your support in person. So there'll be more information coming. I assume you guys are aware of the New York City Retirees.org website. That's a great source of information about all of these developments. And on that note, I'm going to leave you with Marianne to close us out.
Hey everyone, I want to thank you for coming out today. Thank you for being with us on this. We are going to come back out here on June 8th, so come out and bring more friends and be back here and meet us here on June 8th. Like Jake had said, the focus of today was to let you know that your efforts and our efforts resulted in today us filing litigation against the city to stop this Medicare Advantage plan from going into place. You did this. This was because what you guys did, your help, your information. That's right, we did.
Right. Not one woman.
Not just one woman, this was all of us, men and women, all of us.
Especially the ones with the hell in their name.
But we want to thank you because today we wanted you to come here to let you know that our legal team filed this litigation for you. So today is your day. This is for you. So keep an eye out. We are going to keep posting on our website, NYCretirees.org. When Jake lets us know that we have a court date, we would love for you to be there. Have a great day, everyone. Go home, be safe, enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll see you back here on June 8th.
When retirees' rights are under attack, what do we do? Retirees' rights are under attack, what do we do? When retirees' rights are under attack, what do we do? Retirees' rights are under attack, what do we do? So what do we want? 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 And when do we want it? 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 And if we don't get it? And if we don't get it? Shut it down. And if we don't get it? Shut it down. And if we don't get it? Shut it down. And if we don't get it? Shut it down. And if we don't get it? Shut it down. And if we don't get it? Shut it down. And if we don't get it? Shut it down. And if we don't get it? Shut it down. And if we don't get it? Shut it down. And if we don't get it? Shut it down. And if we don't get it? Shut it down. And if we don't get it? Shut it down. And if we don't get it? Shut it down. If we don't get it? Shut it down. Healthcare is a human right. Fight, fight, fight. Healthcare is a human right. Fight, fight, fight. Said healthcare is a human right. Fight, fight, fight. Said healthcare is a human right. Fight, fight, fight. Said healthcare is a human right. Fight, fight, fight. Said healthcare is a human right. Fight, fight, fight. Said healthcare is a human right. Fight, fight, fight. Nicely done, guys. Stay well. Stay together. Go and get other people. We're headed to the win zone. Win zone. Thank you so much, Evie. Thank you.
And I'm a Michelle also.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much.